Job security alert.
Hello, my friends. It's your buddy Phil. You know, I love all things ChatGPT and AI, but right now there are some concerns that we need to address. As you can see on the screen, it reads GPTs are GPTs, an early look at the labor market impact potential of large language models. Now, this gives me cause for concern, but I already saw this coming. For those who didn't see it coming, you should be even more concerned. It says here we investigate the potential implications of the GPT transformer model and related technologies on the US labor market. The bottom line is they found out that approximately 80% of the US workforce could have at least 10% of their work tasks affected by the introduction of GPTs, while around 19% of workers may see at least 50% of their tasks impacted. As it reads, the influence spans all wage levels. Oh my goodness. If GPT itself wasn't already mind blowing, these stats are almost worrying. So, this is as a result of the widespread adoption of GPTs. There's no escaping this. This is here to stay. And if you haven't already realized an impact on your job, you will in the future, is what they're saying here. The research indicates that 80% of workers, that is a huge number, will see at least some of their work tasks affected by the introduction of GPTs. Now, it's not saying directly that their jobs are going to the dogs, it's saying that it will have an impact. So, what should you do right now? You should know the beast. You should be learning about GPT. And the impact is not just relegated to people in the knowledge space, it's all types of jobs. And it's going to span across all wage levels and sectors. As a project manager and as a trainer and consultant, I've developed a course that can teach you about GPT. It's right there on Udemy. And the reason why I did this was to help people put their best foot forward. But I already saw this coming. But the number 80%, that's mind blowing. You see, workers in higher impact jobs, higher income jobs, are going to be probably particularly vulnerable to the effects of GPTs because these models, they could change a lot of their tasks. Now, some workers right now may only see a little portion of their tasks affected, but those that see a mind-blowing 50% of their tasks affected, they better be thinking ahead of the curve. You want to be one of the people that can use the beast, not one of the people that the beast will kick out. If you can ride the beast, you're going to outlast everyone else. If you are clueless about GPT and what it can do in your field, the handwriting's on the wall, my friend. You see, these findings that we're talking about here on the screen, it actually suggests that policymakers, business leaders, people in political power, they got to prepare for the significant changes in the workforce and what's coming down the pike, because this is going to put people out of jobs, and you know what that leads to, right? When you've got a massive shift in terms of who's doing what, and you got a lot of jobless people roaming around, it's horrible for the economy. Just look at history. So my suggestion to you today is if you haven't started using the tool, do it. The government and businesses, they are going to be investing in training programs. They're going to be investing in other measures to ensure that workers are equipped. But you don't have to wait for them to do that, to give you a handout. Start learning today. Right here on this channel, I teach people about ChatGPT, what it can do. I teach people prompt engineering, which is a term that sounds fancy, but it's really just how to query the beast, how to query the tool. And ultimately, to be quite honest, it does represent a significant opportunity to increase productivity and innovation. There are ways that I've been harnessing GPT that takes my efficiency levels above. For example, there was a task I used to take a couple of days, and I'm talking about if I was working nonstop for 20 hours, It'd take me that long to get the task done. I hated the task. ChatGPT does the task in minutes for me. On a good day, in seconds, if there are no hiccups. So think about the increase in productivity. Now my time is freed to do other things. So again, for those of you who are very introspective and you think deep, the rise of automation has been a concern for a long time in different spheres. I started noticing a change in part of what I'm into. I'm into sound engineering, and I realized how AI was able to replace, I'm sorry, I hope he doesn't watch this, but it's my mastering guy. For those of you into music, you create back in the day it was a record and you get it mastered. Now it's a track, right? And then you get the track mastered. Well, AI over 8 years ago started replacing the guy who would master my music for me. Of course, I didn't tell him I was using AI to replace his job, but AI was replacing his job. You see, the rise of automation, for me, it's been a concern for a very long time. But I think some people are just waking up and now it's becoming more evident that the handwriting's on the wall. See, it's going to get to the point where anything that you need to do is going to be done by AI for the most part. It'll get to the point where you got robots in your house, those who can afford it, being like your virtual assistant, if you will, only that it won't be virtual, they'll be right there. Your virtual, your robot chef, your robot butler, your robot, we've already got them, dishwashers, right? The only thing is that they'll look a little bit like a humanoid form. But GPTs, like I said, we shouldn't be scared of these things. We should just see them as opportunities for innovation and progress. And as they become more sophisticated, they're going to enable new forms of creativity and problem solving. I was just watching Rick Beato's channel and how he was talking about AI cloning the voices of well-known musicians and sounding even better than them. He did a video on the AI Drake version or the AI Lennon and McCartney version. Sick stuff. So it's reaching everywhere. I mean, very recently I wrote a book, and typically I would hire an illustrator. But for this book, my friends, I didn't hire an illustrator. All the art on the cover was done by me using AI. It looks compelling. It looks great. But for how long are we going to be able to hold out without getting deeper into the tool? You want to be the top 2% in your industry that is able to manipulate the beast, control the beast, know how to mine the data, have prompts that you are one of the few who knows how to get stuff out of the tool. That's where you need to be. On a more sobering thought, I just talked about how AI was able to impersonate the likes of Liam Gallagher and McCartney and Lennon and Drake. But there are also far-reaching ethical implications. It's only a matter of time where we see the likes of, there's so many, Take Six versus Her, Marvin Gaye versus Ed Sheeran, and so on, his family and his estate. But it's only going to be a matter of time where we have more and more of those cases. And as GPT models become more prevalent, we as humans just need to make sure that they are developed in an ethical way, they are transparent, they're unbiased, they're aligned with shared values. You think about it. If someone could clone the voice of your loved one, call you on a regular phone number, and AI deceives you into thinking it's your loved one because the voice of that loved one has been perfectly cloned, how scary and creepy is that? That's a security risk. That's not just AI. That has so many legal ramifications. So the advent of AI, it may require new regulatory frameworks for sure. People in government, they need to get clued up with the program. They need to be all over the technologies. And honestly, this opens a new legal specialism, or I should say, accentuates the already existing specialism of AI because we have AI lawyers already. But it's only going to times a million, the demand, because you're going to be seeing violations, a lot of violations. There are things right now that if I were to tell you what GPT can do, you would be concerned. But I'm not even going to talk about some of the things it can do. It can do some scary stuff. And it can do some stuff that makes me, as someone who owns intellectual property, concerned. It doesn't make me afraid. It just makes me concerned of what GPT in the wrong hands, or what GPT in the illumination of knowledge as it begins to grow can do. And, as the likes of Elon have said recently, people have no clue what this thing can do. It's like Pandora's box. You got no clue how mind-blowing this thing is. It has cause and effect that we haven't even begun to discover. So, my friends, when you hear people being concerned about this, understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, don't be scared of it. What I need you to do as a professional is to understand the tool. Understand what it can do for you as a professional. Understand how it is affecting the world around you. Understand how it's affecting your industry, and understand how you can get bigger bang for your buck. You want to be one of the early adopters. It didn't take me a second to understand I needed to get a ChatGPT Plus account, because when I saw what it could do, I didn't need anyone to sell it. Perhaps you need to see what it can do, and you begin to tap into the brilliance of it. It's ridiculous, truly. All right, so right here, I'm going to put a link to this page. And OpenAI, talking about transparency, they've been pretty transparent, and I appreciate that. And that's just one of the tools. GPT is just one of the tools that they have. You might want to also check out Dolly. I've got some videos on that. It does great impressionist art. It beats Midjourney, in my opinion, when it comes to the impressionist art, the Van Goghs, even Rembrandt, Cézanne, all the greats. Does really, really cool artwork. All right, my friends, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like, subscribe, share with your friends. Speak to you again soon. Bye for now.